Good morning. I'm Teresa James. I am your musician for today's service. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. It's a pleasure to have you here. And welcome to our virtual music program. I'm going to start out with a little song for you. So, you might be saved, you might be reborn. You might own a car with a big loud horn. Maybe it's just the news on your television. Or maybe it's God trying to get your attention. Are you an engineer or working on a farm? Might be a Casanova with a whole lot of charm. Might be a mouse living in your kitchen, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Well, it might sound bad, it might sound good. It might be made of steel, might be made of wood, or maybe it's just the news on your television. Or it might be God trying to get your attention. Well, it might be in the church house, or it might be on the street. One way or another, every soul has got to meet. Well, it might be in the city, or it might be in the town. Well, somehow or another, gonna find that higher ground. You might be deaf, you might be blind. She'll put the message right in your mind. It might look like a plan or a coalition, or it might be God trying to get your attention. You might be deaf, you might be dumb, but you'll get the message when that message comes. It might be the news on your television, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Listen to the birds, listen to the trees, listen to the river, listen to the sea, listen to the mountain, listen to the land, listen to the woman, and listen to the man. Yeah, it might be a mouse that's living in your kitchen, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Yeah, it might be God trying to get your attention. So pay attention.
Oh, how fun. I love that song.
I do too.
Now, is that the song that you said was Kebmo, or is it someone
Yeah,
else?
that's a Kebmo song.
Yeah. It's so fun. The lyrics that caught my ear were an engineer on a farm, because I immediately started to imagine an engineer. Certainly on the farm I was raised and reared on. But then it might be a mouse in your kitchen,
You never
right?
know.
Which has so many different elements and meaning to that, right? And now I'm noticing my shadow in this picture over here. It might be the shadow in your office as well. So, Well, thank you for so fun that
Oh,
song.
good. Well, I needed a little something to wake me up, so I figured maybe everybody
Yes.
else did too.
Well, my feet were foot was tapping, so it was definitely a foot tapping kind of song, and that's the kind of day we're gonna have, a foot tapping kind of day, waking up slow and easy, just knowing that whatever's transpiring by means of this service is indeed God, whatever we believe that to be. Not just trying to get our attention, but getting it, baby.
There you go.
Good. Well, thanks for being here.
Well, I'm thrilled. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
absolutely. All right, see you in a bit. Hello,
Okay.
everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and it is my pleasure and honor to share this virtual space with you, and that we come together to have our Sunday morning celebration, our Sunday celebration service. It's morning where I am. Kind of late morning, actually. It is 10:36 a.m. Pacific time in the land of Los Angeles, California, specifically in the land of West Hollywood, California, where there's been all kinds of drama around a main water line breaking and so over the last week. So it's been a fun, and I say that fun intended. But what it reminds us is it's God getting our attention. And in this philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, we look at God as an energy, an all creative, infinite energy that exists by means of mind, uppercase M-I-N-D. And you and I are stamps of individualizations of that one mind. Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. Ernest Holmes writes, who is the founder revealer of the teaching of the science of mind. And so I invite you to tune in and to tap in and to turn on to whatever is going to be transpired today as we affirm together that we're exactly in the perfect and right place and exactly the perfect and right moment, hearing exactly the perfect and right words and energy and language and songs to provide that not only that opportunity for our attention in this moment, but then to remember that it's that which we place our attention on and intention in that we get to experience in life in that moment, but also in the co-creation and curation of the life that we desire to experience. And so welcome one and welcome all. Today we're going to have a virtual show of slides, both in an opening slide format, which I'm happy to share with you, and then, well, you'll see when we get to it. So I invite you, wherever you may be, to just settle in and let's share this time space virtual continuum together and know that there's all kinds of things going on behind what you see so that you may exist. And that is both in the sense of technology for us to do this and for you to be present as the presence. And so off we go. And so today is Sunday, July 19th in the year 2026. And so I invite you to know that as a community, our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And I know that that is indeed happening through, for, and as you. We love to open our service on a Sunday morning by moving into an act of namaste. It's an opportunity to receive the energy in a conscious way of the intelligence and the wisdom and the infinite nature of the divine itself. And then in a very practical way to move into the act of namaste, which is a physical act of placing your hands together in prayer position and to take a deep breath in. And as we exhale and bend forward, say together namaste. In its modern Western incarnation, the terminology for namaste, which you may have experienced in spiritual settings or in a yoga class, actually, is the God, the power, the thing in me honors and acknowledges it in you and receives it. The Sanskrit meaning, which is what the word namaste comes from, is I bow to thee. And so I invite all of us to literally do that today, but metaphorically, energetically, to honor that which is existing by means of us and to release anything that's contrary to it and to know that God is looking to get our attention and that we open up, we receive, and allow ourselves to be a conduit for that. As a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all genders, all abilities, all sexual orientations. We stand with you just as you are, remembering that just as Holmes writes, we are a stamp of individuality of the thing itself. We've used this graphic in the center of the screen for many years now, and I just love looking at it in its fun and animated way, but also in a very relatable manner because it exemplifies the uniqueness and the individuality that is expressed by means of each one of us in life. In our philosophy, faith, and way of life, known as the science of mind, one of the things that I tuned into many years ago was remembering that our word has power. As audible beings, when we speak our word, it not only has a vibratory component to it, but we hear it and it has meaning to us. That's at the conscious level of mind, as well as at the deeper level of the subconscious of mind as well. Why do I say that and why does it matter? Because I invite us all to say our welcoming affirmation together and know that it has power. We welcome one and we welcome all. As a community, we teach primarily the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind. Just the other day, I was with someone having tea and they were asking me, well, what is the science of mind? And I explained it and he said to me, well, sounds like you've done this before. I said, I have. The science of mind, it's a teaching philosophy, faith, way of life that at its very core, the principle is that there's one. And within that oneness is the individualized expression of that which it is, you and I. As well as we look at it as that one is all experienced, expressed as mind. I said that earlier, right? But why that matters is that we both experience and express and process life through our minds, through our thinking, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, and our interactions with the very thing itself that provides us not only the ability to individualize it, but the energy that is the individualization of it. A lot to take in. But why does that matter? It matters because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, meaning that it responds to that state of mind that we know ourselves to be. And so we're taught and encouraged and invited to practice knowing who we are as divine beings while using our human mind to do that. We believe that we are imbued with the qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so the more that we tune into that, the more we get to experience that in our life. Not because we're special, but that's because the way the universe works. And so bringing it full circle to the vision statement of our community, supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening just reinforces our desire for each individual to do that individually and to play with that collectively, to be open to it and to remember it and to practice it and then see how it shows up in our life. I've started playing music in the background because we're going to move into our morning ritual. I invite you to take a deep breath wherever you are and exhale, looking at the flickering flame on the screen. We move into our ritual called calling in the light. And today we perform this ceremony, calling in the light, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And the purpose is to draw into our gathering more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. Those are the ones I mentioned earlier. Peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so I invite you to look at these graphics on the screen, whether it's the being surrounded by the energy of life itself, or the dove of peace, or the animated heart that has the peace sign in it representing the love. And then the words of Mahatma Gandhi, be the change. I invite us all to then hear this Buddhist prayer for peace, knowing that as we hear it and to tune into it, we are indeed calling in the light. These words are spoken as may all, which may appear to be a supplication, but indeed it's an affirmation of a shift and a change that's taking place. May all beings everywhere plagued with suffering of body, mind, quickly be freed from their illnesses. May those frightened cease to be afraid. And may those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of befriending one another. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearful wilderness, the children, the aged, the unprotected, be guarded by beneficial celestials, and may they swiftly attain Buddhahood. Buddhahood in this moment is that spiritual awakening that we spoke of earlier. We typically sing a song now called Calling in the Light, and there is a call and response part of that song that says, I am love, I am peace, in my heart I am free, I am soul, and all together we are whole. Teresa's going to come on the screen and take us through a song calling There is One Light, One Flame. And I invite you to stay connected to these lyrics as she takes us through that song and complete this ritual.
There you go. There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
And so it is. So Teresa, we were talking earlier, you've got a library of 300 plus songs to choose from, you said, right?
Some are
Which
better
I just
than others.
love
I
that you
will say
have that. That's how I feel about all the files I have of all the years of all of this. So, and you're like, I don't want to repeat something. I'm like, it's all okay. Just find what feels good to you and groove on it today. So what's feeling good to you to groove on for us
Well,
next?
you know what I always go by is when, because we usually talk during the week and figure out what you're talking about or whatever. And then a lot of times, most of the time, a song will just sort of make itself present to me. And I think, well, that's weird, but I'm going to do it because, well, because that's
Because
gotta
God's
get my
trying to get your
attention.
attention.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is a very basic Science of Mind song that I
Good.
it's
That's how my message is going to be all about basic science of
there
mind.
you go.
So
It's
see,
good.
there you
It's
go. All right, take it away, Teresa
kind
James.
of song. Well, we'll see. We'll see how I do here. Gazing out my window darkness surrenders to another day. And just like a seed that's planted in the garden, it can grow into the tallest tree. It needs the air, it needs the sunlight, it needs the water to become all that it can be. And I feel the spirit that's surrounding me, and I see and I begin to understand. And I know that love is all around me. I breathe and I remember who I am. And God is the sun that's always shining on us, even when the night we hide in the day. Just like a prism can reveal its inner colors when the light shows the way. There is only one thought, one action, one everything and all there is. Always changing, always the same. I am, God is. And if God is the ocean, I'm a single drop of water. If God is the mountain, I'm a tiny grain of sand. All a part of the same eternal wonder. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am.
I'm so glad you did listen to your intuition and followed it and let that song be what you were going to share with us today.
Oh, good.
Because it really it takes it. You said kind of basic science of mind, and it is basic science of mind, but it brings it back to really what Holmes presented in the book, which is God is, I am. Right? That's really that truth, right? And one of the things that I have learned on my journey of this is that the second part is never really evolving. My understanding of it is evolving, and my relationship to the first part seems to be changing through my awareness, but the first part never changes, ever. It can't. It just is, right? So, and that's one of the fundamental components of this philosophy, faith, and way of life. But my understanding of it and my relationship to it is forever evolving and changing. And if it's not, then it's not really understanding the nature of it, right? So
True. Wow.
Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, well,
Thank you.
good. I'm glad.
For the longest time, I kept on my desk here a statement that said, God is, I am.
It's
So,
it's the thing to remember for sure.
yes. Well, the perfect framework and segue for where we're headed next. So, thank you, Teresa.
Perfect. Well, thank you. I'll see y'all in
Good.
a minute.
And so, when I shared that perfect segue with Teresa, what I've um, consciously chosen to do today is I'm sorry, I was just appreciating my own haircut. I'm like, I was with friends the other night and they kept talking about my hair. I'm like, just leave me alone. I just had my haircut. I'm like, I'm just doing me. But now I kind of got what they were saying. Sorry to God is, I am. There you go. Um, many during COVID, I created this library of online presentations because that's how it was all new to us in that moment. And one of those that I created was a slide presentation, for lack of a better term, of a library of Ernest Holmes quotes. And I thought, and I think that today's the perfect time to revisit that. And I want us to revisit that from 2 or 3 layers, let's put it that way. One is that the book, The Science of Mind, which is the template, foundational element of the teachings of this. Not that he's a guru or not that that's the only way to think. In fact, the essence of the science of mind is that Holmes took and studied all of the great spiritual philosophies of the world and kind of brought them together in a way that he says is a way that we can all take this and use it, of using our mind to align with the energy as the divine, not just of the divine, but as the divine. And that was compiled into a book that was published in 1926. The reason that's of importance right now is it's just a 100-year anniversary to that. It's just a milestone by which to reference that. The deeper layering of that for us, I believe, is that when we look at these quotes, which I'm going to choose to believe that most of them came from that particular book. I pulled them, but I didn't research to reinforce it at this point. But let's look at it that they were written well over 100 years ago. And so what meaning did they have then? What meaning do they have now? And moving right along then to just believe, just as the song sang earlier, or Teresa sang in the song, that is looking to get our attention, girl. So let's move into them. And so the first is going to be this. The great spiritual geniuses, whether it was Moses, Buddha, Plato, Socrates, Christ, or Emerson, have taught to look within to find God. And that is what I encourage us all to begin to do, looking within, not necessarily to find it inside your toe or to find it inside the molecular structure of your body. Not that that's not a good place to look. We were just having this conversation with Teresa and Travis and I before we went live today of the brain and the brain inside a computer and all that. But what I believe they're all saying in this moment is that it's through the inner awareness, it's through the inner mind that we process and experience and perceive, and also, process and perceive who and what we are and who and what it is, and that's one and the same. And the way that we feel about that in understanding its nature of being infinite by nature, also that it is an impersonal energy by nature, and that it is always evolving in form, transforming that form, that is that which is within us that gives us both the possibility and the opportunity to not only experience it, but to express it and to reflect what its nature is. And then the more and more that we accept that as our reality, uppercase R and lowercase r, and I'll explain what that means at another time. Well, no, I won't. Uppercase R means who and what we are by divine nature. Lowercase r is how we experience and express that in our human nature. Then the more and more we will have a life that reflects that. In other words, the more and more we tune our mindset into our divine nature, Because the law is impersonal, it'll provide experiences for us in life that reflect that, and we have those experiences, we observe those, we believe them to be true, and they're not contradictory to who and what we are as divine beings. And so the practice then is to be still and know that God is, I am. And then to be open to the God is part, saying, yeah, and here's what that means. What I believe that means in that moment is to be open to experiencing it in new ways all the time, to get our ego out of the way, to trust that there is the power before us. I was watching something, listening to something, I don't remember what it was in the moment, as I'm now looking out and seeing a butterfly, of course, a deeper meaning. That these individuals that I was watching talking about God, Christ, saying, I shall, and I'm going to paraphrase this from the Bible, I shall prepare the way for you, and I'm before you, behind you, within you, around you, whatever. What that's saying is, it was in this context, they were saying the word the Lord. And I really work to not have an issue with that term, because from my personal perspective, it implies something outside of me deciding that for me. This quote by Holmes takes a different angle to that. It says we should believe that God is the invisible partner in our lives. Invisible meaning, and I'm just going to go with an energy, right? It's not deciding for us. And affirm that divine love goes before us and prepares the way. What that means to me in this moment is that the reason it goes before us, divine love, which is an energy, that creative energy that is omniscient and omnipresent and omni-knowing, meaning there's only one and it's everywhere. The reason it's preparing the way is because it's just reflecting itself in all of its innate nature, peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. And the more that we affirm that, the more that we know it to be true for ourselves energetically, then we're magnifying that and magnetizing it and drawing it back into our world as experience. Which brings it back to our role is to believe that God is all there is. Its innate nature is impersonal and infinite, and it operates because law exists in a way that manifests itself, demonstrates itself in experiential form in our lives, both at a moment by moment by moment, but also in the broad sense of the evolutionary process. What is ours to do then? It's to go within. Thank you, Jesus, Socrates, Buddha, Allah, and Plato, and Holmes and Keith and all the others. And then to believe from that perspective that that which is within us is invisible, also impersonal, and affirm that its nature is everywhere in life that we are about to experience because we're choosing to express it. So he says then to do this and to know this. And imagine reading this in 1926. Here and now we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? As much as we can embody. Now, I'm going to believe for all of us that that term, as much as we can embody, means something different to each one of us because of where we are on the journey. One is not more right or wrong than the other. But going back to the going within part, and if we were to use the physical body, what if we were to believe that every cell of our being, our physical being, and every aspect of the molecular structure of our physical being is perfection and wholeness and completeness? And it is good. This infinite good. Good, in this philosophy, faith, and way of life, is a synonym for God. Well, how much of it is yours? All of it is yours, meaning it's not parceled out to you. You don't get to just be as much God as it thinks you should be, or as much God as you think you should be. It's all yours. but you only get to experience that to the degree that you're willing to become conscious of the reality that you're already it. And through that mental affirmative, declarative alignment and accepting journey, meaning the way you use your mind, you will then develop a state of mind, a consciousness that reflects that way of being, and that's the embodiment part. And then that which you embody is how much you get to experience, not get to, but does experience, right? Which then shows physical proof that that which you are thinking and knowing to be true is, of course, then true. What does all that mean in this moment? It means that we have before us in this moment, which if we were to look at in the time-space continuum as 11:06 a.m. Pacific time, the 19th of July, according to the Gregorian calendar in the year 2026, that we're open to more of the good than we were before, and that we're going to do our part mentally and emotionally to reflect that and surrender to its spiritual truth and allow it to show up in our life. Why? Because as Holmes tells us in the next quote, because God is ever present, ever available. So he says to realize that this power, God, and I just of course thought of that funny little joke of, you know, what the dyslexic said to the agnostic. Why, yes, there is a dog. Haha, funny, but true, because what it does is it gives us the opportunity to reframe what that word means, right? To reframe what it means, not making one right or wrong, just contemplating in a new way. It's through that new contemplation that we open up to a new state of mind, state of perspective, state of definition, and in so doing, through that state of contemplation and spontaneity, then the law responds to that, and we get to have a different experience relative to that, while not trying to assign to that the time-space continuum. To realize that God is ever present, ever available, and is to know, K-N-O-W, know that all the wisdom, intelligence, and power of the universe is right where you are. It's a big idea. Sometimes overwhelming, sometimes reassuring, sometimes anchoring and unquestionably true. All of that's okay. A couple of weeks ago with Amy Steinberg, and maybe even last week, she was saying she had a hard time at times believing that, yes, she's one with the drop of the ocean, but at the same time doesn't believe that because of what's going on in the world. All that is required of you and I on this journey based on this particular quote is to realize that if we are having a challenge in realizing it, believe that there is that within us that has the ability to realize it, and set that in motion through the intention of the acceptance of having the realization. Therefore, we will attract into our world the opportunities to have that realization, i.e., 2.5 minutes ago, the butterfly showing up in my world. Why does that matter? Because the butterfly is the ultimate physical expression of the transformation from darkness to light, from goo to beauty. And I have a very different in mind, which I've shared with you all on numerous occasions, that we made the decision that we believe that every time a butterfly shows up in our life, whether it's live and fluttering or on a t-shirt or on the floor, whatever it is a reminder, a symbol to us of the infinite energy of God that is happening transcendent of this human and physical plane, because we've assigned that meaning to represent her mother who is on the other side of the veil. All right, so every time I see that, I'm like, yep, it's all good, it's all God, and it's everywhere all the time. And I know that because I just pressed the wrong button to change the slide. This is the button to change. What's the new slide that we have before us? The secret. This quote means so much. I'm going to back up. This quote has a different meaning to me in this moment than it ever has before, as I know it does for you as well. And for that, I'm deeply grateful. Prior to this moment right now, being spontaneous in this sharing with you, there have been moments that this statement, the secret to having it all is believing you already do, really was about physical experiences in life. It was about knowing that if I needed to have money to pay my mortgage or my rent or whatever I needed, it was there. It was having food. It was physical health. It was all of those things. The secret to having it all, meaning the experience of having it all, is believing you already do. I still believe all of that's true. And what it means to me now is no matter what life is, I'm already imbued with all that I require or need or desire to continue on this journey of life, being open to those spiritual awakenings and providing a greater sense of personal self-empowerment and trusting the journey, in the sense of not disregarding my role in the co-creative process, quite the contrary, but also not trying to control my control, right? It's not about how much weight I can lift in the gym as a metaphor, meaning of how much God can I take in, more about staying conscious and clear in the flow of it all. The knowing that there are times it's going to move fast and times it's going to be the trickle, right? All of that is good and all of that is God, not as a bumper sticker synonym, but just as a spiritual awakening, an invitation to a spiritual awakening, to an acceptance of peace and power and joy and light and life and love and beauty. Our next quote says, "Whoever dwells on beauty tends to become beautiful. There will be grace and charm to expressing itself through that person which no one can fail to recognize and appreciate." Now, I believe that Holmes wrote that in somewhat of a literal sense, both from the beauty perspective and the not failing to recognize and appreciate. But I want us to take it deeper. He's saying whoever dwells, meaning whoever aligns and affirms and reveals a consciousness that reflects their peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. In other words, their divine energy and nature will become more of that. Why? Because that's the way the universe works. And in tuning into that, there'll be grace and charm. In other words, your radiant vibrational field shall shift, right? Ease and grace and charm. And it is expressed through the individual. And the reason no one can fail to recognize and appreciate it is because it is magnetic and magnificent. So it's a vibratory field, a consciousness and energy that is moving out from the individual. And the reason those can't fail to recognize and appreciate is because they're a mirror image of that energetically, because the law of attraction attracts that into its world, that which is of equal vibration to it. And so it's natural for me to recognize and appreciate that in you and you of that in me because of who and what we are, not as individualized expressions of that which we are, although we are individualized expressions of that which we are, but because of what we've tuned into as it. As it. And so purposefully choose to dwell on the qualities of God and the perception that it's all one thing happening. The next quote is, "The perception of wholeness is the consciousness of healing." Let's just take that in for a second. The perception, the awareness of wholeness, the state of mind of wholeness, meaning its reality, is the state of mind that's healing. He says in the book, healing is an act of revealing wholeness/oneness. Yes, without a doubt, we're talking about that in the physical sense of healing. But the reason the physical sense of healing can transpire and happen is because of the intelligence and the wisdom within the body. And that intelligence and wisdom that is within the body is the energy of the Christ, the energy of God, the energy of the wholeness, the oneness that's already there. We break that down in our teaching and say within that are the qualities, but not limited to these qualities, but they include peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. David Hawkins then breaks those down energetically in a map of consciousness to say, when you tune into these frequencies, here's how life works, right? Which takes us all the way back to the beginning of it all, which is God is I am. I am God, not the totality of God, but the individualized expression of that which is total within itself. One. One power. And being taught the science of mind, we hear in the words of spiritual mind treatment, there's one power, that power is God, and I am that power, right? He's telling us in this quote that, and not only is that true, but that is all the power that there is in the universe, because there's only one power, right? And it's with you. For it is you, and it is me. I can hear my first teacher, Dr. Kennedy Schultz, used to always say, when he would say something is you, he would say it's you, and it is me. And I appreciated that for years and didn't really understand it. And then for years I did understand it. And now I understand it in a different way. It's because our words have power. It's also it's framing for all of us to know that there's a continuity to it where there's no separation. I start to say it's inclusive. And it is, language-wise, and it is from a referential perspective, and it is from an understanding perspective. But to take it deeper than that, from an understanding perspective, is that all the power of the universe is. But because it's you and it's me, and we are individualized expressions of it, and we both experience and express it through our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, our interactions, in other words, our mind, and yes, of course, our brain, then he's saying, then use your mind to have a new thought, change your thinking, change your life, and then choose in every situation possible to feel it. Peace, power, beauty, joy, life, love. Know it. Peace, power, beauty, joy. And then act as though it were true. Now, I love this statement having a new meaning for me in this moment. He's not saying feel it or know it and maybe even act according. He's saying feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Sorry to scream at you into the microphone. And I just in this moment realized the triune nature of that. Once again, everything in life. I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine this week who's freaked out because a mutual friend of ours' mother passed. The third of three. And she was like, it always happens in threes, and she's elderly. And she goes, it freaks me out. I'm like, I know you. I know that's why it's freaking you out. I'm like, but you have the opportunity to be grateful that you weren't one of those three. But what's freaking you out now? You think you might be the next one in the three? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, well, then live each moment, which is all any of us can do. To feel it, to know it, and then act as though it were true. I keep moving to the wrong button to slide the slides. Prior to coming on today, I just did the content we're now doing new thought text for the day. I'm doing an audio content like this to go out through social media, and then the printed that goes out each morning. And I just did a set for next week, and I talked about how much I love to use affirmations and the importance of affirmations, going back to not only do they have great power, but it is that reinforcement that our words have power, and that which we hear ourselves say and speak is a resonance field of energy, and we not only hear it and it has historical context of meaning, but also our mind responds to it. Feel it, know it, and act as though it were true. Speaking it is a part of that. So Holmes then said in this affirmation, and I'm going to say it out loud and say it with great reverence and with great energy, in this moment, 100 years later from when it was printed, and imagine every time it's been said since then, and let that be, for lack of a better term, a reservoir of energy that's there to carry us all forward from today forward. And I invite you, if you're looking at the screen, to say it aloud with me. I must be myself. If you can love me for what I am, we shall be happier. If you cannot, I will seek to deserve that you should. I must be myself. I will not hide my taste or aversions. Rather, I will so trust that what is deep is holy. Screenshot that, everybody. In fact, I will, and send it all to you later. What is he telling us here? What I believe he's saying here is feel it, know it, and act as though it were true. What is true? That spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. The butterfly's back, flying towards me, reinforcing it. Be yourself, baby. And if those around you can love you for that, then it's going to create a world of joy. If they can't, I'm going to affirm for you that you should, not because I need you to do that, because should you do that, then we're going to hit the same resonance field, baby, and then we're going to be a match. And if not, we're not a match. And magnets attract what is a match and deflects that which isn't. But no matter what, I'm going to live out my stamp of individuality. My authenticity is today's catchword for that. And I will so trust that what is deep within me is holy. Why? Because it is. It is. It's WHOLY or LLY and HOLY. Why is that true? You've heard it many times today. Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. Today I invite all of us to let that have a deep, 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 holy meaning. And we allow it to permeate every aspect of our soul, to ignite within us our spiritual cells, our DNA, to align with this truth, and then to feel it, and then to know it, and to act as though it were true. Why? Because as Holmes tells us, all law must be subjective. The soil knows how to take a seed and make a plant from it. It doesn't know whether it's making a tomato or a potato or a Wendy or a Keith or a Cheryl or a Colleen or a Lenore or a David or an Edward or a Star, or fill in the blanks. It just responds. And it knows how to create without knowing what it creates. Meaning that it knows to create for you a life of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, because it's reflecting that which it is. But what's required of that journey is for you and I to honor that seed and to plant those seeds of awareness. Not the seeds of peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, but to plant the seeds of an awareness and an acceptance and an alignment to that spiritual truth, because those are qualities of God. And what is God? God is all there is. And so if we choose to do that, which I am assuming and affirming for all of us, we are choosing to do that, to then tune into this spiritual truth. Negative forces operating in our lives will die a natural death if we practice the habit of being disinterested in them. But more importantly, not just disinterested in them, but interested in what I just shared and all of the other slides. And so, we're wrapping them up. Holmes says we can no more do without spirituality than we can do without food, shelter, or clothing. One of my great teachers, Dr. David Walker, used to say, we can never become more spiritual. We're as spiritual as we'll ever be. I'm going to paraphrase this, but we can sure as hell have a life that feels more spiritual. In other words, we play a role in our awakenings, our spiritual awakenings. Open up to the butterfly, baby, because they're always there. And to remember that love is within us as the self-givingness of spirit and as an emotion. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored, though. To the extent that we abandon it, we'll feel as it's abandoned us, along with all the other qualities of the divine. Denying love is our only problem, and embracing it is the only answer. So through the power of love, we can let go of history and herstory and begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. I don't know how many more slides I've got, but we'll see, right? And he tells us then that true imagination is not fanciful daydreaming, it's fire from heaven. What he's telling us and reminding us here today is to be dynamic and creative and imagine the life you desire and know that the law will respond the way it works. And so it is. Well, I had fun doing that, and I trust that you had fun sharing in it in the way that you did, and to know that it has been planted as a seed in your soul and your mind, and your field of awareness. And then the law responds, because it always does. Open up, baby. The butterfly's here. Teresa, what you got for us now?
Well, I keep changing my mind. But here's what you're going to get. This is a song of, well, you'll see. Years cannot age you. Fear cannot scare you. Pain cannot hurt you. Death cannot kill you. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. War cannot harm you. Hunger cannot starve you. Sin cannot shame you, and guilt cannot blame you. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. When you're doubting your direction, and you feel like giving up, just choose love. Money has spent you, and beauty will tempt you. Fame will fool you, just choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love.
Yes, choose love. Sorry, I'm choosing to turn my fan up a little bit. It's got hot in this
There you
room. So beautiful, that song.
Thank you.
Did you just do that on the spot, or is that a
Actually, I had
song?
another song all
Oh.
queued up to do,
But I
and
mean, you didn't just write it on the spot relative to the Ernest quotes. No,
no, my friend wrote that song.
it's beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for reconnecting me with Jody Siegel.
Oh, great.
We're gonna book her.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. She's awesome. Yeah, she does a little monthly program, a songwriter thing down in Lomita, and I'm doing that this coming week. So I'll see
Teresa,
her,
thank you
and
so
we'll
much.
talk
I
about
always
it.
cherish our time together, both during service and before and all of it. So and after. So thank
Me
you, thank you,
too. I
thank you.
always
I
enjoy our
know.
time together.
And we were so hoping to be able to do this in person today, and then it was a
I
thing with
know.
the
I was looking
building.
forward.
I know, but we couldn't do it because of Ciclavia is taking place. So the streets are all closed off, and from West Hollywood through Hollywood, it's a biking,
Oh,
walking event. And then add to that, the streets are all closed because of the water main break.
I was gonna
It's a
say, were you okay with all that flooding? It looked like a
Yeah, I
major
didn't get the water
disaster.
part, but we definitely got the traffic part
Well, yeah.
and the helicopters. But yes, I know I feel bad for them all. So, but I have some friends that were without water for a while and also trapped in the area. They couldn't get out. So
Yeah.
I was supposed to have breakfast that morning at 9 o'clock with a dear friend of mine who just turned 95, and another friend, her best friend who's 90. Literally at that restaurant where it flooded, like where it exploded, right in front of that restaurant. Which I'm so heartbroken for that restaurant. They're not going to be able to open for a while, if ever again. But that's I mean, that's the route I walk in the mornings with Sweeney a lot. So
Well, I'm glad you weren't having breakfast when the water main
right.
broke.
So I don't feel not that we need to go through this now, but one of the things I learned in all this was they're saying these water main breaks typically happen at night because they're not the pipes aren't being used. When you're using them in showers and restaurants and stuff, the water's flowing, so the pressure's not building up for these things to bust and break. So what's this metaphor for all of that? Don't let yourself explode. Keep the flow going, right?
Oh,
Teresa, thank you so very much. I know you're going to take us out with Let There Be Peace in just a moment because we're running long today, but it was all worth every moment, right? So thank you all for being here today. I cherish and appreciate each one of you and know that you're making a difference out in the world just as you are. Obviously, a big thank you to Teresa, as we just stated, and a thank you to our social medias, Olivia and Star Queens, and a big thank you to Travis Smith, who does so much wonderful things for us to keep us going technologically here and running the show from behind and all that. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Travis Smith. A reminder that this Wednesday evening is our game night again. If you haven't signed up, please go to our website or reach out to me and I can make sure you get signed up. It's going to be fun. I don't remember exactly the time, but it's Wednesday evening online. I think it's 5:30 to 7 or 6 to 7:30. Anyway, it's all, you can find all the information on our website and all of our social medias. Our weekly e-newsletter goes out tomorrow, so watch out for that. Our new thought text for the day each morning at 7:30. And that's it. We'll be back in person in August. I think it's the third Sunday in August. All that information, social media wise, and website, csl-la.org, as well as our app in the App Store. I invite you to please go to our website and support us financially. Know that all of your income is put to great use and is needed. And so we say, please donate and support our community if you feel so moved to do so. And I know there's something else I'm supposed to be sharing with you in the moment, but I can't remember what it is. So this is it. And so I affirm for each of us today that exactly what we have desired, whether we know it or not, was provided to us today, and that we have everything we need. And so let's remember that and trust the journey and stay tuned in, and to open up to a new experience and expression of God itself as you and as others. If you're on Zoom, we'll stay on for a moment and say hello to each other afterwards. And for those of you on YouTube, we're going to say goodbye to you after the peace song. And I look forward to sharing this with you again next week. Please join us for our midweek morning meditation at 8:30 Wednesday mornings. Bring friends and keep being you. Teresa, let's take it out.
You got it. There I am. Y'all sing from home, okay? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my